Hi, my name is Julia and I'm going to make some chocolate chip peanut butter cookies today to take to a friend's baby shower. The good thing about these special treats is that they have minimal added sugar. In fact, the only sugar that will be in them will be because of the chocolate that I add. I'm doing this on purpose because most of us consume more than twice the recommended amount of added sugar by the American Heart Association. And so a good way to try and cut back is that when you bake things, not to add the sugar to the baking, but find other ways that will still make the things you create taste delicious. So for example, in this recipe, I add some chopped up dried dates, as well as the chocolate that really brings out a delicious flavor in these cookies. Before I started baking, I did a couple of things, and one is I got a baking tray and lined it with some greaseproof paper, and I prepared some of the ingredients. In this cookie recipe, instead of using flour, we use garbanzo beans, and it requires just 1 can of garbanzo beans, which I rinsed quite a lot under the tap to get off some of the kind of salty beanie flavor that comes with them in the tin. So they're all ready to use. The other ingredients are about 3 ounces of chocolate, which I'll break up into small chunks. I've got 4 dates, which I will take the pips out of. I'm going to put in about 1/4 cup of coconut flour, 1/2 cup of peanut butter. You could use any kind of nut butter. I also add about 1/4 cup of almond milk, and I can add a bit more, or if I think that the ingredients are a bit dry. I put in a teaspoon of vanilla extract and a teaspoon of baking powder, and everything goes in the blender, and that's about it. So it's a very, very easy recipe. In this recipe, as I said, everything gets chucked in the blender, but before I do that, there's a tiny bit more prep work to do. One is I just want to break up my chocolate into some chunks that will go in the cookie. So that's pretty easy to do. I can just do it inside the wrapper here. Just has to be rough, some rough chunks. It's nice to have some delicious molten bits of chocolate. I'm afraid as much as I have a very sugar-free diet, I do allow myself the occasional treat of eating a bit of real chocolate once in a while. So the other sweetness in the recipe comes from these dates. These actually have got pips in them, so before I put them in the blender, I just wanted to cut them open and take out the little pip from the middle. Otherwise they're very, very soft. And dates are super, super sweet. And so they really sweeten any kind of baked recipe. And the good thing about them is they come with their fiber. So whenever you have the fruit or the dried fruit, at least you're getting the fiber that comes with the fruit at the same time as the sugar. Now it's time to put all of the ingredients except for the chocolate into a blender, or if you have a food processor you can use that too. First of all, I'll put in my can of chickpeas. You can also cook your own chickpeas, and then I think it would be about 1.5 cups of chickpeas that you would put in. And as I say, I've really rinsed these carefully. Then I'm also going to add my 1/2 cup of peanut butter. This peanut butter has no salt, no sugar added. And I recommend if you buy peanut butter, really check the label, because quite a few commercial varieties do add sugar, and it's really unnecessary and much healthier to have it without. So I'm going to do about 1/2 cup of peanut butter into here. And I've got my special lovely finger scraper that I always enjoy cooking with, that I'll get that out of there. Then I also want to put in about 1/4 cup of almond milk. I may need to add a little more, but I'll just start out with 1/4 cup. Then I'm going to add about a teaspoonful of vanilla extract into there. Give it a nice vanilla flavor. And I'm going to add another 1/4 cup of coconut flour. Coconut flour is very high in fiber, and it's also got a real sweetness to it as well. So that helps with creating a nice cookie flavor and texture in this recipe. And then the final thing I'm going to put in here is my 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Now here I've got my measure, and once I put this in, I'm going to blend up everything into a smooth paste. And if it seems a little dry, at that point I can add a bit more milk. I don't think with this recipe, as all recipes I enjoy making, you have to be too kind of paranoid about the actual amounts. And then I nearly forgot to put in my dates, so they'll whiz up in there too. I'm going to put the lid on and make a lot of noise now. I realize that my mixture is a little dry, so you can see in there it looks dry. It's not really blending, so I'm going to add about another 1/4 cup of almond milk just to help moisten it a little bit, and then I'll give it another go with the lid on, just to help blend it all together. Basically, this cookie dough needs to be about the same consistency as hummus, which it sort of looks like at the moment. So now that I've liquidized it or pureed it into a very hummusy type consistency, see, like that, and hopefully there aren't any big chickpeas, garbanzo beans still left, because probably if you eat a cookie with a garbanzo bean in it, you might think that was a little strange. But now I'm going to add the broken up chocolate and mix that around. And then I'm going to put them out on my cookie tray and put them in an oven that I preset to 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes. So let's put this lovely chocolate is already starting to escape, and some of my bits that are a bit big I'll just break up a little more. And then I'll just use a tablespoon to scoop them out onto the tray and flatten them out a little bit. And should be pretty good. So, just to make my cookie dough a bit more accessible, I'll take it off there, and just using my tablespoon and my handy dandy finger, I'm going to lay out the cookies onto my baking sheet. It's quite a sticky sort of a consistency, but I'll just shape them out roughly. I found the last time I made these that they didn't really change shape too much during the baking process. So I'll try and flatten them out a little here before putting them in the oven. And basically that's all you do. Just keep on going, laying out your cookies on the sheet. These are not only tasty but quite high protein compared to the usual average cookie, because they have the garbanzo beans and they have peanut butter. Most of us, as I said, get far too much sugar in our diets, but we also get far too little fiber. So another good thing about these treats is that they're high in fiber, but actually without using whole wheat flour, which is another alternative. These use garbanzo beans, which are very high in fiber, and coconut flour, which is high in fiber, to add a bit more of that to our diet. Woohoo! My little dollops of hummusy cookie are now on the baking tray, ready to go in the oven, 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. So here goes. My oven is preheated. In they go. Set my timer, 15 minutes. And we'll wait and see how they come out. My timer has just gone off, so I'm going to take the chocolate chip peanut butter cookies out of the oven. And there's a lovely smell. Whoa, and they look pretty good. Here they come. There is the delicious chocolatey, peanut buttery cookies. Now I'll just let them cool down a little, and then I'll be able to put them in a tin and take them off to my party. And these cookies are really especially delicious for those of you that like a chewy, soft center to your chocolate chip cookie, because even after they cool down, they have a delicious, soft center. For more information about healthy diet and different foods and some recipes, please check out my book, which is Your Care Plan, A Nurse's Guide to Healthy Living. My name's Julia. Thanks for watching and enjoy your cookies.